Hello and welcome to Cyclocosm.com's How the Race Was Won, where today we cover the second stage in cycling's annual Saturnalia of pain, suffering, and goofy-looking French stuff, the Tour de France. Rather than the traditional prologue, this year's tour began with a full-on time trial that put Fabian Cancellara in yellow solidly ahead of the rest of the field. With the time bonuses gone and no golden fleece at the end of the sprinter's rainbow, racing was decidedly more relaxed than in years past. Saxo Bank controlled the gap of a so-so breakaway much of the day, which gave Versus plenty of time to dedicate to Lance Armstrong retrospectives and, of course, Kelly Saunders' Nature Valley. That's not to say there weren't a few nerves in the peloton. Several crashes occurred throughout the day, including one that took down Cancellara's teammate and GC contender Frank Schleck. Saxo Bank team manager Bjarne Riis, apparently unimpressed with the carnage, attempted to show Schleck what a real crash is like, but the young Luxembourger was just too wily. After a few thousand more advertisements and Lance Armstrong features, the sprinters' teams finally took over the pacemaking, until at 10k to go, with the catch imminent, Katusha's Mikhail Ignatiev leapt clear of the field, dodged an errant French flag, and blew past the breakaways. But there would be no great escape for the Russian as Milram and Columbia-Highroad drove the pack into the final kilometers. John Vaughters wondered aloud about sending Garmin Slipstream into the fray, but wisely held off, perhaps remembering the consistent late-stage collapses at this year's Giro. Tom Boonen's Quick-Step squad also elected to lurk rather than lead. Slipstream finally jumped into the ring just outside the final kilometer, and lead-out man Julian Dean was warmly welcomed by Highroad's Mark Renshaw. Dean was still able to battle his way into the lead, but behind, Slipstream sprinter Tyler Farrar was left in the wind before elbowing his way onto Mark Cavendish's wheel. Tom Boonen was not so lucky, as he ended up sitting in the wind and taking a shot from Milram's Gerald Cholik. Boonen, spot-shadowed here and already out of contention, suffered further misfortune as he ended up alongside Koldo Fernandez when the Euskaltel man realized too late that the pack had not yet rounded the final bend. Still, it would be unfair of the Belgian champ to be mad at the Spaniard. After all, not everyone in the peloton has Boonen's keen nose for staying on the white lines. In the chaos following the Fernandez tumble, a huge gap opened behind Tyler Farrar, forcing Cholik to bury himself stitching things back up. Alone on Cav's wheel, Farrar might have had a shot at getting a drop on the Manxman, but the Columbia-Highroad team's leadout was too perfect. George Hincapie pulled off on the inside of a gentle bend, blocking Cavendish's left and forcing any early attempt by a competitor to go around the long way. Mark Renshaw opened up a gap between Cavendish and Farrar at the beginning of his pull, and just as the American started his acceleration, Cav swung to the outside of his lead-out man, giving anyone trying to come around an unpleasant choice between Renshaw's rear wheel and the barriers. Even if Farrar had gotten a clean jump on Cavendish, I just can't see him coming away with the win. Over the final 200 meters, Cav ran his gap out from huge to enormous, to the point that I was worried Versus might try cutting to another commercial break. In the dust behind, Romain Feliu and Tor Hushovd got easily around the exhausted Cholik, while Japanese rider Yukiya Arashiro lunged unnecessarily across the road for fifth. I'm Cosmo Catalano, and that's how the race was won.